Hi guys, George here from Zero Period Productions, and I just finished another rewatch of The Mandalorian, and it got me thinking back to the old Star Wars Bounty Hunter game and how much I want something new in that vein. So it was just my luck when I was on the Skyrim Nexus and saw a fitting mod. Headhunter, Bounties redone by JaySerpa. I guess he's not taking that break from modding after all. And I'm okay with that. Now, obviously, this doesn't entirely scratch that Mandalorian itch that I've got. We're talking Skyrim versus Star Wars, but this still comes close enough and adds some much needed functionality and new features to the bounty hunting system for Skyrim. Gone are the days when a Jarl and his steward would send you off to kill a bandit leader and you simply come back without any shred of proof that you killed them. No, now you need to prove it if you want to get paid. It's a common feature across various games too, Fallout 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance, just to name the first two that come to mind. For the Headhunter mod, you take the bandit's head and bring it back as proof to your quest giver. It's even integrated into the quest log, and upon killing a bandit leader, you'll be given an objective to get proof of the bounty. But better yet, you don't always have to resort to killing your target and carrying a severed head around with you, as the mod adds the ability to take prisoners instead. To capture a bandit leader, you'll need to get their health low enough that they take a knee, and then interact with them the same way that you would during a brawl. This will open up a dialogue menu, in which you can order them to surrender, and afterwards even demand that they hand over their gear and change into rags. Once they're captured, you can take them to a guard and turn them in for your reward. You don't need to bring them to any specific guard either. Just go up to any of them and talk to them. It doesn't even have to be a guard from the city where you picked up the quest. Any city, any guard, easy. I think capturing targets is a great option, as some players might want a more lawful character, and might want to see justice done by the Jarl and his men, rather than exact it themselves. One minor criticism is that while bringing a bounty back to town, they'll constantly repeat the same line over and over and over again.
I've had enough of you!
It does get to be a bit grating after a while. Once you start taking in prisoners and hand them over to the guards, you'll see them taken to the nearest prison and start to fill up the cells. It's a nice tangible feature. You get to physically see the fruits of your labor, and you can even try talking to your quarries, who of course won't be happy to see you. Depending on how dutiful you are as a bounty hunter, you may run into the situation of filling up the prisons, as each one can only hold around 7 or 8 at a time. Once a prison is filled, the guard will take matters into their own hands by executing the prisoner that has been there the longest, in order to make room for new arrivals. This is done entirely off-screen, and makes sense since most cities don't have an executioner's block. That being said, I would love to see an update for the mod, where we might see public executions for prisoners brought back to Solitude's prison. I mean, hey, they only used the chopping block the one time for poor Uncle Rogvir. Why can't we watch some bandits get beheaded as well? That would lighten the mood, right? But there's more to bounties than just bandits, and Jarls will occasionally ask you to hunt down dragons, giants, and forsworn leaders. And the Headhunter mod takes all of these into account. Giants, much like bandit chieftains, can be spared upon knocking them down into a down state. You'll be given a chance to forgive them, at which point they will walk away in shame and disappear from the world. Doing this will fulfill the requirements for the quest, and you will still get paid. You know, in case you're not in the business of killing giants. But of course you can still kill them normally too, and just do the quest as you would in the vanilla game. And that's the beauty of Headhunter. It's that it gives you that choice. It allows for more role-playing for players, which is always nice in an RPG. Now, Jay has mentioned that the giants have a potential bug when surrendering, and you might not always get the interaction prompt when they're downed. If and when this happens, just quick save, load the save, and you should be good to go. Headhunter was built with some other mods in mind, in order to really flesh out your bounty hunter experience, and includes a few compatibility patches that you can install from the mod's main file. For today's video, I am making use of Missives, a mod that many of you likely already know. Missives by IronDusk33 is a mod that adds jobs and bounty boards across Skyrim, allowing you to pick and choose jobs and bounties from a board, rather than having to go to a Jarl's steward or an innkeeper in a city every time you want more work. Missives was inspired by Manny GT's The Notice board, but IronDusk wanted to improve on it. One thing to note is that both Manny GT's notice boards and IronDusk's missives have compatibility patches for Headhunter, giving you as the player a bit more freedom to use the mod of your choice. Adding these patches into Headhunter is great, and the missives really work well for this, since I'm at the point where I want to be able to choose what job I take, instead of getting a random one every time. In addition to missives and notice board, Headhunter has patches for Skyrim Realistic Conquering, and All Geared Up, Derivative Edition. I ran into a couple problems trying to get All Geared Up installed, and I probably need to do a clean sweep of my Skyrim install at some point anyway, but I still wanted to touch on All Geared Up's contributions to Headhunter since I think they're pretty cool. With all geared up installed, you'll be able to physically show bounties either on your character or on your horse. This means being able to wear dragon skulls on your back as you bring them in as proof, or have them hanging on the side of your horse as you ride back to town. The same can be done with giants' heads as well, and reminds me a lot of the trophy system in Witcher 3, visually speaking at least. In some ways, I wish we could get all the features from All Geared Up, but with a mod that has less requirements. To install All Geared Up, you need to install a bunch of other mods and utilities first, including 4's new idols, SSE Edit, XP32 Maximum Skeleton, etc. And some of these are mods that people have downloaded and installed all the time. But if you just want to see a dragon skull on your back, it's a lot of modding minutia. Headhunter is also compatible with Lawbringer, a mod that allows you to claim bandit strongholds to prevent bandits from respawning. And Lawbringer works with Headhunter without any patch needed. And to answer the most common question I get, this mod is only available on Skyrim Special Edition on PC, not on Xbox One, and not on Oldrim. But bear in mind that nowadays my focus is really on Special Edition anyway, so more often than not you'll see me covering mods that are featured first and foremost on Skyrim SE. But hey, one of these days I'll make a comprehensive video on some of the best mods out there for console, because in the end there's still quite a few options out there. I don't know about you guys, but bounties are something I usually do pretty early on in a playthrough. It's a great way to explore the map and uncover new locations, get some gold while you're still trying to afford all the gear you want, and level your skills. For that reason, Headhunter is something that I think can help bring a lot of life to a new playthrough, and make that early gameplay loop feel a little bit more fleshed out. Couple this with a mod where you can't fast travel and suddenly it becomes more challenging, with having to try and bring captured bounties back alive as you traverse Skyrim's wilds. There's a lot you can do with the mod, and I can really see it being a staple for countless people's load orders. And while the main point of this video was to talk about Headhunter, I wanted to wrap up today's video with another of JaySerpa's mods, because the man is just a modding machine. The second and last mod in today's video is Paarthurnax Quest Expansion, and this one is actually available on both Oldrim and Special Edition on PC. So, enjoy. We've seen a few Paarthurnax mods before, to allow you to spare his life while still being in the good graces of Esbern and Delphine. This, however, is the latest and probably greatest, with nearly 60 lines of new dialogue, fully voiced scenes, and giving a bit more depth to your decision and the thought process. The great thing about this is that there's a couple different ways to approach the mod and make your decision. Esbern mentions that while Paarthurnax can be trusted for now, what happens when you're gone? Will he always have the temperament that he does now?
You must see the danger, Dragonborn. Just think, maybe not now, in thousands of years, when Paarthurnax, the right hand of Aldred, takes its place. Only a Dragonborn can stop him. But then there is no Dragonborn, since you are dead.
How does Paarthurnax feel about his previous actions? Is he worthy of forgiveness in the first place? Or how do we know that Paarthurnax won't use the power vacuum with Alduin's defeat to try and take his place?
Yes, Vaza, Crosis. Sorrowfully, you speak true, Dovahkiin. This was ages ago, you understand. Before few of us rebelled against Alduin Stur, his tyranny. For thousands of mortal years, I have lived here in loneliness and meditation. Yes, you see, only through meditation and long study of the way of the voice, I have overcome my nature.
You'll go through these questions and more, speaking first with Paarthurnax and then having to convince both Delphine and Esbern.
Are you sure? I hope you're right about Paarthurnax. I really do. I don't like it. But I guess that isn't important. I'm one of the last members of the Blades, which means I have no other choice. My oath binds me to you, Dragonborn.
And even then, in the end, the choice is still up to you. You can spare Paarthurnax and have the services of both the Blades and Greybeards available to you. Or you can still choose to slay Paarthurnax, to which he accepts your challenge and has two of his allied dragon pupils join him in the fight for a more dramatic boss battle. The voice lines in this mod are all taken from vanilla dialogue, spliced together as well as possible, and while not perfect, it does come pretty close to being vanilla quality. It's meant to be as seamless as possible, and when working with existing characters and lines, it's always a challenge. In the vanilla game, they just don't give you enough reason to kill Paarthurnax. Esbern and Delphine are just being dicks. This mod, however, tries to give both sides of the argument, so it's not as cut and dry as Blades bad, Dragon good. But hey, in the end, you're the Dragonborn, and the Blades are supposed to serve you, so you can still tell Delphine to shut the hell up already. I am including some of the dialogue from the mod so you can get an idea of the new scenes. But if you want to see everything that the mod has to offer, I recommend checking it out for yourself. I found that of the 3 characters, Delphine's lines were the most obvious that they were spliced together. I think it might have to do with the actress's inflection during some of the vanilla lines. For Paarthurnax, who has the most dialogue in the mod, I'd say it's damn near perfect. Esbern is a step above Delphine's and you don't notice as much of the cuts and splicing. There's no requirements for this mod, and it should be compatible with any mods out there, assuming that they don't try to change the Paarthurnax quest themselves. Frankly, this is probably the best Paarthurnax mod out there to date. A lot of the other mods are unvoiced, and even have some odd writing. We're talking all caps dialogue, excessive exclamation points, yada yada. This is something that flows much better, that helps to flesh out the conundrum and give the player more agency. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed these 2 mods from JaySerpa. I was only planning on covering Headhunter, but as I was writing the script and trying to see if Headhunter was available on Oldrim, I came across the Paarthurnax quest expansion as well, and wanted to throw it in here. It's crazy how easy it can be sometimes to find good mods on the Nexus, even if you're not looking for anything in particular. Over the years, I'm sure I've found lots of great mods accidentally, and it's a nice surprise when it happens. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.